Hey, what's up? It is Roy here, and I had another real quick thought I wanted to share today from my Bible study this morning. Just really excited, y'all. I've got one book left in the New Testament to have finished reading the New Testament for the year. I started back in, I want to say it was October, so was able to go through and read and study. So I've really been enjoying that. But today I was reading in the book of John, and particularly in pretty much chapters like 3 and on is where I started today, and also did some back studying back into Luke and some different things like that. But something stood out to me today that I wanted to share that just really was exciting to me, and honestly convicted me a little bit, and basically showed me a few things, and I wanted to kind of share those with y'all, and maybe it'll help you like it helped me. But I was in the book of John in chapter 4, and in verse 42. So keep in mind, this is right after Jesus has gone to the woman at the well. She is there. The accusers have already come and said, hey, we caught her red-handed in adultery. Like, we've got, we saw it happen. Like, here she is. They're testing Jesus basically. And they're saying, what should we do? The Bible, your word says that we should stone her to death. And so he's writing in the dirt, and then he's listening to him, and he writes some more in the dirt, and then he tells them, he goes, those without sin cast the first stone. And they start mumbling amongst themselves, and they start thinking, and they're getting convicted, and they're realizing none of them were without sin, and they start walking away. And guess who's left? Jesus and the woman at the well. And he asks her, he talks to her, and he tells her, go to her husband. And she says, I don't have a husband. And he basically tells her, you're telling the truth. Thank you for that. But, she acknowledged him as Lord. First off, let's get that. She acknowledged him as Lord. He told her to go away and sin no more. So there's 20 sermons just in that right there. And that would be awesome. But in verse 42, so she has gone, and she is telling people, I've met this man at the well. I've met this man there, and I believe this is the Jesus that everybody has spoken of. And she starts telling them, he's known everything I've ever done. And she's telling them this, and they stop her and they tell her, we do agree, in fact, that this is the Jesus. Not because of what you tell us, but we've heard him. They said, we've heard him. And then I go on in the book of John in chapter 6 and verse 20. He's approaching his disciples out on the ship, and he's walking across the sea. And it says, and maybe I'm wrong in this, and I'd like to, talk to a few people and find out, but they're on this, the wind has come up, and it's windy and it's blowing, and it doesn't say they're scared or afraid. It doesn't say they're afraid due to the wind. It says they saw him walking on the water and were afraid. But the key point here is he says, it is I, be not afraid. And I've got some notes written down here. That's why you see me looking down. But he says, it is I, be not afraid. They received him joyfully into the ship. And then it says they were at the land. They were there. So when they heard him, they realized who it was. And then I went back to Luke, and I was like, it kind of rang a bell, and I went, wait a minute. I remember reading something yesterday in Luke that went along with these lines. And I go back to the resurrection. And he's buried. He's in a borrowed tomb. He's buried. They go to the tomb that morning, that Sunday morning, and he's not there. There's his clothes laid out separately. He's not there. The women go back and they say, hey, he's not there. He's not in the tomb. So then here go, he's not there. And what really got me here was the fact that he meets up with Simon and Cleopas, I believe is how you say his name. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but he meets up with them, and they talk and they talk and they talk, and they go on, and he gets ready to depart, and they say, no, come hang out with us, come have dinner with us, come hang out with us. And I can imagine their conversation as they're walking and as they're talking, and just, could you imagine literally walking and talking with Jesus? What that conversation would have to be like. But what I found key in this again is they sat down to dinner, and it says that Jesus took the food and he broke it and he blessed it. They heard him and they recognized him. Now it says they recognized him and he departed from them. He was gone. He hadn't yet ascended. He couldn't be touched, but they heard him and they recognized him. And then they had a conversation amongst themselves. They had this conversation and they said, did not our heart burn as we had this conversation? Did not our heart burn as we talked with Jesus? They got to realize that, wow, we should have recognized him sooner. But that got me to thinking about this, and I'm going to wrap this up real quick. It's already been 6 minutes. When people talk to us, do they see Jesus? When somebody comes up to us, you can walk up to a stranger anywhere, at a grocery store, at work, at church, anywhere. You don't know anything about that person. You can see that person, you can stand there, and you can be next to that person. If that person speaks to you, when you speak to them, will they see Jesus? Is your language laced with profanity? Is your language worldly? Is your language not of a good testimony? Or when they talk to you, will they see Jesus? I'm just leaving it at that right there. And that's all it is. That's as simple as it is. But that's what got a hold of me today, is when others talk to me, do they see Jesus as they did in the Bible? When Jesus spoke, they recognized him. When Jesus spoke, it's over and over and over in the Bible. When Jesus spoke, they heard him and they recognized him. They recognized him by his speech. When people talk to you, do they recognize Jesus? Love y'all.